Welcome to Chapter Sass, the podcast where we deep dive into the books that make you blush, gasp, and maybe even think a little. I'm your host, Season, and with every book, I'll be joined with a new co-host with their own hot take. From spicy romances to messy love triangles and all the glorious chaos in between, we're here with a fresh perspective to unpack the stories we love, question what we think we know, and explore how the book speaks to us. Things might even get a little sassy. This episode is rated mature and will contain spoilers. Let's get into the first chapter. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be reading The Bonds of Hercules. We're going to be deep diving into chapters 15 through 21. This is the second book in the Villain of Lore series by Jasmine Mas. Hello, Danielle. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How was your week? How was your holiday break?
I don't know. It must have been good. I don't do holiday stuff. I'm not a holiday girly.
That's
So
fair.
like
I
I
was
don't
in
travel.
Mexico.
Yeah,
So
you travel. I mean, I would go to a beach, but no, we just stayed home, did like bestie Christmas Eve, did like group dinner, super cute, super easy, like everyday life, which is
love
how I
it.
like it.
Love it. I was, not to glow or anything, I was in Mexico. It was very sunny. Loved it. I'm a little tan. I might start to break out soon because at one point the sun was a lot. And I was like, okay, can't be under the sun anymore, but loved it. But now I'm back, and the best way Chicago could have welcomed me was coming back to snow literally on the ground. So, and like a snow stuff going on. So welcome back. What are you drinking today?
Okay, as always, water jug.
Mhm.
And then my cup of decaf coffee. But y'all, this has so much oat creamer in it because I wasn't watching what I was doing. If I could tilt this and show you the color of this, you'd be like, "Bitch, that's oat creamer with a little bit of coffee." It, it's not appropriate anymore. I shouldn't even be consuming this, but whatever. And
Uh,
then, because someone is not smart and has not eaten yet today, I have a protein shake.
That is smart. No, I love that. I was on all inclusive too, so I'm not drinking right now. But I do have my water. I have my water too. I actually have coffee. I have it in my tentacle mug. I feel like we're kind of hitting a little bit more villain-esque themes
Mhm.
now. So normally I drink my coffee black. I have what is it called? Sweet foam. I did throw some sweet foam in. I'm still in vacation mode. So I was like, I'll make it a little sweet for today. But cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers with my coffee. All right, so let's get into chapters 15 through 21. Chapter 15 is called Satan's Touch, 3 days later, post-healing coma Alexis. And as a reminder, we left off right after everyone was calling her the Angel of Rome. She defeated the two Titans, and Augustus and Karen came, and, they're taking her to the safe house. We start off, and Alexis is woken up by Satan, aka Charon. Charon says, I watch you every single night, and starts kissing Alexis. And Alexis is getting turned on. So right away, we're getting a little bit of a spicy chapter. I'm here for it. Then Alexis hears Augustus from across the room. He says, fuck, she likes this. Don't stop. And Alexis is like awake, but her eyes are closed. So like she's completely like, she understands what's going on with her, but she just has her eyes closed. And then Karen tells her, wake up, Carissima. And she does. But now Karen's like sucking on her nipples, and she's like super getting turned on. And when she finally opens her eyes, she feels the pain from her back, because remember her back was like sliced open. But she doesn't even she like realizes that she's like bandaged up too, but she like doesn't care. All she cares is like she's just giving in to her desires right now. So then Alexis teases Karan by calling him Karen, and Karan like punishes her and is like, now she's like super really aroused. And Augustus keeps telling him to do it again because she likes it. And Augustus tells her, good girl. Karen is like, you're mine. There's all this kissing. He tells her that she's going to take him and he's going to fuck her so hard that she's going to crave him for the rest of his life. And Alexis can feel how hard Karen is. And then he almost is like at her entrance, and she's ready. Like our vanilla girl, she's so ready for this. And I
Did
just
you
feel like at this,
at her entrance?
Yeah, that's what it said in the book. Okay, after this, we could talk about it, but, like, he was at her entrance. So now our little vanilla girl is so ready. And, like, at this point, it's been, like, a book and a half, right? Like, not a book and a half, we're a book and, like, a quarter in into the
Mhm.
series, and Alexis has not gotten vitamin D, and I'm like, "Girl needs her vitamin D," so I'm here, but this is a slow burn, you know, if it this is what we signed up for, right? And so we
Mhm.
all know what that means. So then Karin uses his powers on Alexis so that she can once again feel what he's feeling. And he's just thinking, fuck her for hours, consume her, gonna tie her to the bed, destroy her, need to be inside her. Augustus is continuing to watch from the foot of the bed and then ask Alexis, can she feel how hard Karin is for him? And Alexis does not answer right away, and Augustus tells her to answer, and she does. And so he says, "Good girl, so obedient, so perfect for us." And Alexis now realizes she really enjoys getting praise. And this is like the second time they've mentioned this because like the first time she was like, "Oh, I really do want to like make Augustus happy." So then Augustus tells I can't wait until we're done with this so you can tell me what you're thinking. Oh my god. So then Augustus tells Karan to like tease her clit and Karan like, you know, starts doing it and he starts to ease a little bit more. Alexis is clearly ready. And right when he's about to enter, Augustus cock blocks and says, "No, you've both been in a healing coma for 3 days. She's too injured for that right now." But he does head over to Alexis and fingers her. And then when she finally comes, he gives his hands, his fingers to Karan, and Karan licks them. And so Alexis is now like in heaven. She absolutely loves this. Karan gets up from the bed, and Alexis like sees his body, and then she's like, "Oh," she sees his penis, and she's like, "There's no way that's gonna fit inside me." So what we've learned is after a book and a quarters into the series, we still have gotten no one's fucking each other. The slow burn is still gonna burn. You gotta love it. I'll let you go ahead and tell because now that they're done here, they get into like a little fight or whatever. They do what they do. So you can go ahead and tell me what are your thoughts on this semi spicy scene?
Um, Karin is also a good girl.
Oh, because he
Yeah.
listened to Augustus.
Huh? Augustus is
Ah.
Augustus is running the show here, and
Mm.
Karin. So I wonder if part of the dynamic is Karin likes taking command and Karin likes being told what to do.
I could
And
see
so
that.
this is an opportunity for him to do it to someone else, right? Like this is an opportunity for him to like play a
Oh,
role that he normally wouldn't,
oh, I
right?
love this.
And I think the idea that we're repeatedly being told that Karin is like animalistic, right? That he's like primal, he's just like feral,
Mhm.
he's just gonna like tear you up, right? So is the idea that, like, Augustus reels him in and prevents him from doing that? Like, is that why Augustus gives direction? Or is this the dynamic that the 2 of them have worked out and enjoy together? Is this why they fuck people
Mhm.
together? Because either
Mm,
Augustus is reeling Karin in or Karin is secretly a good girl.
mm. I do
He's a good
think
girl. They're
with
all good girls. Everybody's good.
I do think with Augustus being the oldest, this is also a control thing for Augustus, right? Like every single title that Augustus has in this book is called Eldest Heir. Every single chapter or whatever that Karin has, the titles of that is called the Hunter. So I do think this goes into his dynamic of just being the eldest Sonic heir. Um, that he likes to take control. But I do like this. And he did take Karin, remember, under his wing when that SGC a long time ago when his mother Artemis like disowned him. Like it was Augustus who took him in.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm here for it. All right. So now that you know the slow burn is still going to be burning and we got no sex at all. I mean, I guess she got fingered, but that's just about it. She didn't actually do the deed. Then Alexis
Baby
looks at
baby steps. We're working on it.
baby. You know, all of this happened though in book one. Like at the end, at the altar, she was fingered and eaten out. So
Oh, for like an hour.
yeah, for like an hour. No, it was longer than an hour because he said, "Oh shit, the hour's like been passed."
Okay,
Remember?
yeah, you're gonna be punished for an hour, but oops, I didn't set a timer. Oh no. Oh no.
So yeah, so at this point, I'm personally ready for them to do the deed. At this point, it's just time. These are your husbands. It's been months.
At this point, I was like 4 chapters in and I was like, "Season, where's the smut?"
Oh, I mean, I will say I do think we get they she gets a little more adventurous here, but being you want me to give you a little spoiler or no?
No.
Okay, well,
Well,
just
maybe
know the
I don't know.
slow.
Look, okay, hold on. I'm gonna admit something. 'Cause I know I've told you before that I like doing just the chapters that we're gonna
Yeah,
talk about, because then it's like I don't think about other stuff.
yeah.
Y'all, this shit starts getting real spicy, and I was like, "Ooh," and then the next thing I knew, like, 10 chapters were gone. So,
Oh,
I probably have some spoilers of my own, but
oh, that's fine.
I'm gonna try to forget about them.
Oh, so you must have reached if you say 10 chapters past, then
Oh,
you either reached I think there's only 2 parts you could have reached. It was either, no, just 1 where she decides to, like, please them or whatever before her battle. Is that
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
where you're at?
I
Okay, yeah, I
I
think like
I listened to that chapter at work. I was sitting at my desk and I don't know if anybody else ever thinks this, but sometimes I have moments where I'm like, "Shit, what if somebody around me can read my mind?"
I
Right?
think a
Like,
lot of people do that. If you go, like, on TikTok, there are so many videos where it's like people think I'm listening to, like, at the gym, and it's, like, smut in their ear, or they're at work, and it's like, "Can my boss hear?"
well, here's the thing. I don't like whatever. Everyone who knows me knows I'm a pervert, right? Like all my coworkers know
Yeah,
that. Like it's not a thing, right? We're a small office. Like
yeah.
I'm the closest thing we have to HR, so yikes. But there was this moment where it was like I was listening to it and I was like, "Oh, this is getting good." I was like, "Oh, this is hmm." And I was just like, "Oh my god, I hope none of my coworkers can hear my thoughts."
I love it. I love it. Okay, well, I know where you are kind of in the book now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it does. I think because the dynamic is changing, or it gets a little bit more spice. We get a little bit more spicy scenes-esque without actually doing the deed. This is one of them, so
I think part of it too though is yeah, stuff is getting a little bit spicier, but also along with the sexual content, there's intimacy coming with it,
mhm.
right? Like we're seeing more of Alexis's vulnerability and like willingness to show and more so even a willingness to receive intimacy from her husbands, to receive the idea that her husbands do love her and care about her and
Mhm.
yeah, there's all the other stuff of like we want to possess you and violate you and like dominate you. But it's I mean, I'm gonna put some of my own self into that. You can't really do those things with somebody until you have that vulnerability, right?
Yeah.
And they've been trying to push that on her and it's not going well, but she's just now getting to that point where she's starting to receive that from them.
Mhm.
And the more that she's receiving it, the more that she's willing to give it.
I
So
l yeah.
it's almost like there's that exploration of like intimacy and vulnerability that's allowing for the sexual part to start coming into play.
Mhm. I love it because if we're being honest, this is the part that they skipped, right, in the relationship because they tricked her into marrying her. So, like, all of
Mhm.
this, when she would have allowed them to come into her life and, like, put down her walls, she never got that, right? She was tricked into marrying, and she had to marry them. So, I like that. So then Alexis looks at Charon and realizes his ear is missing, and everything comes back to her because remember, she's been sleeping for 3 days. Alexis says, "You gave me your ear," and Charon's like, "Yeah, it's no big deal." And Alexis like, "But you gave me your left ear. What have you done?" And then Alexis just bursts into tears, and Charon tells her, and I'm quoting this because I do think he was really sweet kind of in how he, like, did this. "It's not a big deal. You needed an ear. I had one. It's an oat Spartan tradition. And I like for you to have a piece of you, or I would like for you to have a piece of myself, an apology for how we trapped you into the marriage." And then Nyx is on the floor at Fluffy Junior's and slithers up to Alexis and is like, "It's okay. Don't blame yourself that he's an idiot." and I love Nyx. These next few chapters, I absolutely love Nyx.
Yeah,
Love her, love her,
Nyx
love her.
comes in with, like, good comedic relief. Like, she's not
She
as intense of a character as she was previously, but when she does show up, it's like, "Oop, okay, okay."
so now Karen is begging Alexis to like stop crying. Then Alexis finally tells him the truth. Part of it, she tells him that she's deaf out of her left ear, and that sacrifice that Karen made was for nothing because she can't hear out of that ear anyways. And remember in book one, we know from one of the chapters, from like one of the men's chapters at the end, that Persephone had told him she was born with the same colored eyes. So it's just safe to assume at this point that like she also told him she was a very healthy baby when she was born. Like she could hear out of all this. So like now they're alert. They're like, you, when did you become deaf? Right. Like, so now they're immediately like, you were not born this way. So it becomes dead silent, and the men are not happy and they're just like processing this. Then they ask Alexis how, and Alexis says it was physical damage, not a big deal. And she doesn't even get to finish her sentence because they're like, who? And Alexis at this point is like, shit, I said too much. And she's trying to like get around it, right? She's just trying to be like, no big deal. And Karen's like, who? And so Alexis just lies to like get herself out of the situation. She just says that like she fell and she injured herself, but they both know that she's lying. Chapter 16, end of the chapter. Any thoughts about that really quickly before we go into more of this bickering?
I kind of still question. I mean, Alexis's hesitancy in talking about her life beforehand, I get it because it was protection of Charlie.
Mhm.
But Charlie's here now. He's a part of the show. Like, he's fine, he's safe, he's being taken care of. Why is she still protecting the man who was like her foster caretaker? And I get it. Part of it can be
Mm.
like you don't want to talk about it because it was traumatizing, that part of your life is over, yada yada. But it's very interesting to me that she's still defaulting to behavior that protects someone who doesn't deserve it.
Oh, I see it differently, but I actually love that you said it that way. So I see it as she still doesn't trust them all the way. And this is just another vulnerability that she would have to give them. And she's not there yet. And while Alexis, I don't think she would not admit that she's not weak. She was weak, right? And I'm putting weak in quotation. She was a child. Let's be very clear. There were adults beating on a child that should not have done that. But maybe how Alexis sees it is that like she couldn't take care of herself. She had to take care of Charlie. Like maybe she thinks that she deserved this or something. I don't know. But I like your way of thinking too. So
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm like, I think I forget how much Alexis doesn't fully trust them because I'm annoyed by it. Right? Because I'm like, girl, get the fuck over it. Let's move on.
yeah,
Um,
get some vitamin D. Let's go.
but I mean, like part of that too is like, yeah, I can see Alexis being like, I'm strong, I'm independent, like I've had to take care of me and Charlie for so long. So, like, admitting that there was a period where, like, she wasn't in control or she wasn't in command, I can get that. But Alexis needs to cut herself some slack. And remember, she was a kid. She was a
Mhm.
kid. Like, the fact that the responsibility of protecting yourself from that kind of predator is being put on a child, right? Like, we do it all the time. Like, as a society, we
Mhm.
do it all the time. And it's totally batshit, right? And that's why we have situations of like, when women report rape, well, like, what were you wearing? And I was like, dude, fuck
Yeah,
off. Like,
yeah.
right? It's a similar sort of idea where it's
Mhm.
like she needs to cut herself slack and be like, this wasn't my doing. And like,
Yeah,
even though I'm
I
grown
agree.
now and I've gotten more capable, like I was a child. I was a
Mhm.
child.
But maybe now another reason, I agree, she is a child, but she still blames herself for her foster mom's death, and I also do think she would have to confess at this point that she's the one who killed her foster mom and not her foster dad. But again, she did it to save Charlie. They were literally plotting Charlie's death that night. So, like, it's not like she didn't.
I don't even care that she did it to save Charlie. You are rolling with two dudes who love the death
This is
and the
true.
murder and the violence, yada yada. You try to tell me you aren't telling these psychotic, hot, big dicked husbands of yours, you're gonna be like, you're gonna hold off on telling them that you murdered someone when you flat out know they'd be like, "Oh my god, that's so hot. Fuck me right now." Like,
Yeah.
mwah. If I was rolling with somebody who was like murder as hot, I'd be like, "I murdered my foster mother."
I Oh my god. Okay, well, we'll keep going because we have to get to more spicy chapters now. Chapter 16. Your pain is mine. It's an Alexis chapter. So this is where the loving couple just stops being loving and they start arguing. And at this point, Augustus is over it. He hasn't slept in 3 days. So he takes the Titans, like he leaps them to wherever they keep the Titans. And then he comes
Mhm.
back and Karen leaps everybody back home. When they're back home, Alexis just thinks Karen's sacrifice was the most generous, yet the worst thing that anyone has ever done for her. And meanwhile, both men are still trying to calm her down. Karen is like, he would do this a million times over. So stop overthinking this. Alexis just feeling overwhelmed. And then they call her princess. They wanted a Gothic girl to coddle, to protect, to obey. And she's like, I'm not really those things, right? Like she's still trying to find her way. Like I think she doesn't mind being a quote unquote good girl, or I don't think she doesn't mind to be coddled or protected. But I think she kind of wants it more on her own terms, right? Like, and she's not there yet, so it's just a lot. It's overwhelming from her.
Yeah, because she's a brat.
And Alexis now knows that like it's not all like they're not just talking like sexual when they're like they need her to obey. Like they also are looking out for her life at this point as well. And Alexis is just like she's not having this and she like, you know, w- like walks away. And then she says, this isn't this thing between them, it's just not gonna work. And Augustus says, there's no going back. We're trying to be better for you, Alexis. Like, and then Alexis feels the pressure like in her marriage bond. And so she knows it's true that they really are trying, but she still can't fully accept it. Then Alexis feels something else in the bond, and Karen Alexis faces I'm sorry. This is why all the A names are completely ridiculous. I said Karen Alexis. Karen and Augustus face turn cruel. And who walks up behind Alexis but good old Patro and Achilles? And Patro's just like, oh, thank Kronos you're alive. Meanwhile, the hellhounds are like barking. They're like trying to attack. Poco is like showing off his teeth. Poppy and Nero, which are like Achilles and Petro's animals, like they're ready to attack. Like all everyone is like, it is so tense. You could probably cut that with a knife, right? And then like Petro clears his throat and is like Alexis, and he calls her Alexis. He doesn't say Alex. He's like Alexis. I'm so sorry. I told Achilles he should have never have left you. I can't believe he like says it's my fault. And I actually took a step back when I read this. And this is like the first time Petro has taken any form of responsibility. And I personally think he didn't do anything wrong in this situation. He was literally knocked out cold. Like Achilles left her, not him. He was knocked out. Like he had no choice in this. And so I think some character developed for him. He's still an asshole. I'm not saying he's not an asshole. He is still an asshole, but he understands that like why they're mad, right? Like he understands and he's like, we should never have left you. And yeah, thoughts before I continue?
Well, I do wonder though if like part of him being apologetic is because he's still on this whole like, Alexis, leave your husbands and like be with us so
Mm,
that me and my boy can like fuck each other and be married and get out of this marriage law thing, right?
yeah.
Um,
I don't
so
know.
I
I
still
want
like
to see the good in Petro.
I still second guess him though. I'm still like, you're
Yeah.
working this angle, right? But I do think that there's got to be some sort of alarm there, right? When you come to and you realize like just how badly like someone was injured, right? And if Petro does care for Alexis in the way that he claims to, which I don't think is accurate. I think he's like forcing that on himself. Yeah, it would be alarming. But here's the other thing is it's like, yes, he's saying I'm sorry and blah, blah, blah. But then he passes the buck to Achilles. And he says, like, he never should have left you. So you can show up and you can be like, "Oh my god, like, thank Kronos you're alive. I'm so sorry you were left. Other dude bro shouldn't have left you."
Mm.
He's still passing it on to somebody else.
That's true. That's true. I still think slight character development. I mean, I agree with you. I do. Well, I said this before. I'm gonna say it again. I do think Petro does love Alexis. I think he's confusing the type of love he has for her.
Yeah,
I think he loves her like a sister or whatever, and in his head, he's confusing that love to be like, oh my god, this love will work for me and Achilles. It's gonna be great, but like that's why you love her is because it's not the type of love. He's just confusing the love that he has for her. So, like, I do think he doesn't want her to have her back ripped open and all this stuff either. So, but
right, right. Like, he does like, you know, she was their mentee. He has that platonic sort of care and whatever. But because of his anxiousness and his panic around this marriage law, he's right. And Achilles has called him out for this many times. He's
Mhm.
worked into this thing of believing like like I'm in love with Alexis. We are in love with Alexis. Like she is ours.
Mhm.
And Achilles is bro, like reality check. She's not gonna ditch those two. She's just not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true. All right. So everyone is, there's tension in the air. Everyone, animals are all doing their thing. Alexis is trying to stop this before it gets bad. She wants to like talk to the Crimson Duel, but she knows that like right now is like not the time or place. So she's just like asking everyone to just wait and don't overreact. No one is acting like they heard her, and Nyx is getting all excited and is like, "Oh shit, shit's about to go down." Because Nyx loves this type of crap. Alexis, like, looks at her husband's face, and they are ready for more, and Alexis is like, "I forgive him. It's fine. It all worked out in the end." She doesn't actually, like, forgive him, but she's like, she needs to say something to, like, stop her husband from, like, attacking. And
Mm.
then all hell breaks loose. Augustus goes after Achilles. Charon goes after Petro. The animal protectors are against animal protectors. Alexis screams, "Stop!" Nyx screams, "Paint the walls red with their blood." But in Nyx's defense, she views Alexis as her child. She literally said, like 2 chapters before, "I didn't raise you from a hatchling for you to just sacrifice yourself to do this." So, like, Nyx almost died trying to protect Alexis too. So I'm sure Nyx is equally pissed at Petros and Achilles. So paint the paint the wall red with all of their blood. So now Alexis is just done with everything, and she yells, "Stop it!" really loud again. Karen has Petro like pinned down, but Petro's also wearing like a neck brace because remember he like broke his neck or his spinal cord, whatever, cracked. So he's still recovering from that. And right when he was about to punch him, he like punches the floor instead, and Alexis feels something in her arm as if like she was the one to punch something when she didn't. Then she looks over at Augustus and she sees him using his powers on Achilles, and Alexis is all of a sudden getting a headache now, and she realizes that she's been getting these headaches much more frequently. Everyone stops fighting, and Charon like moves towards Augustus, but like then Alexis goes to like try to help Petro, but like as they're like running and moving, Charon accidentally like elbows Alexis like in the stomach hard, and Charon and Augustin felt it, and all of a sudden they all just like look at each other, and they realize that their marriage bond is connecting them through their pain. And Charon asks Alexis, like, does she feel their pain? And looks down at his leg because he knows that he feels his leg pain all the time. And Alexis lies and says, "No, I can't feel anything." And her husbands are like super relieved because they don't want her to feel their pain. So this whole time she's been walking around with new leg pain, a headache, acting like nothing, trying to learn how to move her power, can't shoot for, doing all these simulations. So I have to give it to her. Like she's doing a lot. So, except getting laid, but she's doing a lot. So, a little little applaud there to Alexis. Then Petro tells Alexis again that he's sorry for everything. And Alexis just tells everyone to stop fighting because she will not treat them the way that they've treated her. She will not be the reason for their violence. She won't be like them two. And she looks at her husband when she says this. And Karen asks, what exactly does that mean? And then Alexis goes and like starts naming a list. She's like misogynistic, cruel, hyper aggressive. But then she tells them, you don't even know what happened, yet you would attack Achilles and Patra. And she's not wrong. Like they don't know what happened because they were, I think, in the Amazon somewhere. So like, not even with her. Then all of a sudden, Fluffy Jr. gets in front of Alexis protectively. Nick slithers up Alexis' leg. Poco climbs up Alexis's back. Hell and Hound flank Alexis and tell her, we protect. And Augustus and Karen are shocked as Alexis walks away with Fluffy Jr. and other animal protectors. This is an equivalent of a mic drop, end of a chapter. Done. Thoughts?
Okay, one, they shouldn't be shocked that she waltzes away with their animal protectors with how much time they've spent talking about and working towards protecting Alexis.
Oh,
Shouldn't be shocked. Like,
that
you've
is
set
true.
that up, right? But I get it. Like, those are your animals, those are your guys. Like, they're supposed to stick
Yeah.
it with you. I get it.
Mhm.
Like, it's kind of like, okay, but you've set that up, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's how you've been eating. Is like she's numero uno. Um, I also find Alexis lying to them about feeling their pain, yet again being protecting people who don't deserve it.
Mm.
If you don't fully trust these men, like, I mean, I get it. You're like fooling around with them or whatever. But if you're not in a position that like you fully trust them or have that vulnerability with them, like, why would you care if they can feel your pain or if you can feel their pain and like they know about it, right? Like, I feel like if this sort of thing had happened in earlier chapters, Alexis would have been like, "Yeah, I can feel it and fuck you," right?
Mm.
But because her attitude is changing a little bit and there's still this like hesitancy towards admitting like any sort of weakness or anything like that, that she's still just like hiding it. And it's I don't know, it's just strange to me because I look at it and I'm like, if somebody were approaching me and being like, "Yo, I wanna protect you and I wanna take care of you and I don't want you to feel pain, I don't want you to be hurt," I'd be like, "Hell yeah. I don't wanna be hurt either. I don't wanna feel pain either," right? So if I can disclose to you, like, yes, when your leg hurts, my leg hurts, maybe because you want me to not feel pain so badly, you're gonna go do something about that leg.
Mhm.
The more I lie to you, the more I carry on and make you think that I'm not connected to you in that way, the less it's gonna be like, yeah, it's not, I don't know.
Yeah, but she's doing it on purpose because she doesn't I mean, she doesn't want them to know that she's that connected to them, not yet. So, she's doing that on purpose because again, she doesn't trust them all the way, so
Yeah.
trust is earned. Trust is earned. My only thing about this chapter and in later chapters, um, is we stress about how much Persephone and Hades like love Alexis and they missed out so much on her. And then as we get into later chapters, like when they start doing the SGC and it's like her battle, we get into more things. My issue is like this stuff, like all of Rome saw Alexis do what they did. Like, so it's not like no one knew what happened. You mean to tell me Hades was like prepping her, telling her about how like don't be scared, daughter, because we're just hazing you, but don't take it like did all this prepping. You mean tell me he didn't try to kill Patros or Achilles for leaving her? Persephone didn't try to do anything. He not once tried to visit his daughter who had her back sliced open with like mutant titans. Like so this doesn't just happen in this book. I think this is a lot of other books too with like a lot of authors is that like if we're gonna paint this dynamic with children or this or that, then if something bad happens, everyone who would be affected by it in real life should be affected. Like we could have easily written a chapter being like Augustus leaped to, you could have easily just put a sentence being like Hades, Persephone like sent their love. They know she's fine. You know what I mean? Like she's stonic, so this isn't going to be her first. this isn't gonna be her first set of war wounds, right? But, like, just some form of acknowledgement because there's none. But, like, up until now, we have Hades being like, "This is how this battle's gonna work. This is how this is gonna work. Let me show you how this," but he wasn't there when she almost died at her first Titan thing. I find that so hard to believe. So, that bothered me a lot, because, again, it could just been a sentence, like, but yeah, but that was pretty much it. But I love that she took all the animals. I would have loved it even more if she took Nero and Poppy with her, but that didn't work out.
That's another dynamic, right? Like,
That
that
is
would've just been icing on the cake, but that's a whole other dynamic.
that is true. All right, chapter 17, The Hunter, Charon, and now it is early June. The chapter starts off with Charon in the gym. It's been a few weeks since Augustus and since the whole Augustus, Petrol, Achilles incident, Karin now spends his night watching over Alexis and then heads to the gym in the morning before she wakes up. And to be clear, he always spends his nights watching Alexis. Like, Alexis always plays dumb, but like, she knows it is him watching her at night. Everyone knows it is him watching her at night. Since the Rome incident, missions have been paused, meaning no one's going after Titan. So this is where I'm kind of like, so does that mean the Titans are on vacation? Like, are they stopped attacking people just because no one's gonna come after them? I don't understand, but whatever. Point is, no one's going after Titans anymore. It's all stopped. So all there is left to do is train for the SGC, which is supposed to take place in August. And we learned that the SGC only allows like knives, swords, and like this. Like, no modern weapons are allowed. So no guns. I don't know what else is considered a modern weapon, but like no guns. Um, and Alexis is okay with the blade, but she only has a few like weeks to master this, not years. So like Karin is like concerned for Alexis, right? Karin is also super excited. The chapter goes into that she cannot feel, and I put in quotes because we all know she can feel, that she cannot feel their pain. And Karin's like, thank the fuck that the connection is only one way, because he's embarrassed because of the mere thought of Alexis knowing how he even felt, if she even knew how weak he was and how much his leg would hurt daily. She'd be disgusted. She wouldn't think he was good enough to be her husband. Then Augustus calls Karen into like the other room, and Augustus pulls up footage of when Alexis and the Titans were like fighting each other from a Spartan chaser. And remember, he's doing this because Alexis literally just called them out and said, "You weren't even there. You don't know what happened." So this is like his way of trying to find out what happened. So this whole time, Karen and Augustus assumed that Alexis got her injuries from like running away. However, when they watch the video, they see the exact opposite. They see that Alexis fights the Titan to save the humans' lives, and she never leaped away when she could have been. So while they're mad at her, their wife, they're also in awe of her because they see how much she went like above and beyond for these people. And so now they really see why she is called like the angel of Rome. The world is
Mhm.
obsessed with their angel, and the men realize that they really do need to earn Alexis's trust. So Augustus pulls out a black box and there's a gift inside, and he's like, "This is gonna help us get Alexis back." End of the chapter. Thoughts? This was like a short chapter, but
I enjoy when we get chapters from the male character perspectives,
mhm. Same.
um, especially, like, as this book goes on, right, and there's, like, more vulnerability and, like, more sensitivity. It's like, "Oh, this is funny," like, listening you describe this. But I like a lot of the parallels between Karen and Alexis of, like, not being willing to admit weakness, like, "I can do it myself," and, all of this sort of stuff. And somehow Karen has managed to make a bond with Augustus to where, like, he can let go or, like, give in a little or something like that, right? So I like seeing the parallels between these 2 characters because we see Alexis kind of slowly doing with the 2 of them what Karen must have done with Augustus at some point to
Mhm.
have that bond, to have that trust. But yeah, the whole thing of, like, if she could feel my pain, she would know how weak I am is kind of I mean, I can see, like, why someone would think that, but to me, that would be the opposite. It would be like, "Man, you go through this every day. Like, this is what you feel like every day,
Mhm.
and you still show up, and you still do badassery, and you still protect me, and you still take care of me, even though, like, you are in constant pain, constant."
Mm. So I also see it that way, but I think Karan sees this way, and I'm gonna say part of it, part of this, and then if I remember later on, because his battle hasn't happened yet. So I think we get more information after his battle. But if we just take the information that we have now with this, we know that on paper or for the audience, Artemis allows Karan to be the heir, but like disowned him when he lost that HDC when he was like 6'8". I forgot what when he was like very young, right? So I think also, but in Karan's head, it's like he's also not one of the more stronger Sonics. Because remember when we got those rankings, it's like it's a Achilles, Augustus. Then I think him and Petra are very close. We
Mhm.
don't know what Helen's power is, but like maybe Helen's power is stronger than this. We don't know all the leaders, but like I think he just sees himself as weak, and especially after his mom disowning him, he's not super close with everyone. I think he just needs to put on a front even more now. So like in his head, he always needs to be like the quote unquote man in the relationship for Alexis. But yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
yeah. Cool. Chapter 18, The Price of Power. It's an Alexis chapter. So Alexis and all her new animal protectors are headed to Helen's room where Augustus and Charon like appear. And so like she hasn't gone to the room yet. She's just like on the way to the room. They want to give Alexis their gift, but Alexis has learned her lesson about accepting gifts. So she like takes the box, but she like doesn't open it. And Augustus is like trying to take the nice approach and is like asking like, "How are you feeling?" He's just like, "Please take this gift." Karn, on the other hand, is like, "Take it." And he's like saying it, please, with like gritted teeth. He's just like, just take this present. And Nyx being Nyx tells Alexis, tell them they better crawl and kiss your feet. Also tell them to be naked. That's a very crucial part. So Nyx is just being Nyx. And
Mhm.
so then, like, Alexis is just like, "This is too much." So she takes the box, but she doesn't open it. But she like leaps into Helen's room to like get away from them. And then Alexis just like we also learned though when she leaps to Helen's room, that's a short distance. And so we learned that now I guess all of them can do that. And maybe this is like a Hades house power that she is able to leave very short distances and it not impact them because not everyone else can. So her husband's like run to Helen's room and they're banging on the door. And Augustus is like a bit more calm and is just saying, "Hear us out. We're trying to apologize." And Karen is like, "I'm fucking sorry. I demand you forgive me right now." Alexis is done and she just heads to the ensuite bathroom. And while she's in the bathroom, we learn that Alexis can speak to both Nyx and the Hellhounds in their own language, but they cannot understand each other. So, like, we always knew that she can communicate with them, but like now she's like the middleman. So, like, Nyx cannot understand what the Hellhounds are saying, and the Hellhounds can't understand what Nyx is saying. So, like, they play games, they tease each other, but once Alexis is done in the bathroom, she heads to the adjoining room where Cersei is there. And Cersei is sleeping, but she's been trying to regain all her lost memories. And so Alexis like looks over her notes and she finds something written and it says Zeus plus Vico, Hercules assassination. And Alexis just thinks, why would Cersei need this memory? What does she have to do with it? Like, she understands that Cersei's trying to get her memory back, but like, what do I have to do with this? So immediately, I'm already thinking a lot of other things when I first read this. So tensions are also high in the villa. So Alexis thinks that this is impacting Cersei because yesterday the Falcon Chronicles wrote Medusa's manhunt picks up steam. Federation plans to start interrogating Thonic. So Alexis just thinks, oh, Cersei must be going. The tensions are just high for everyone because now the Thonics are going to start being interrogated. So she must be writing some of this mumbo jumbo for whatever. Alexis heads back to Helen's room. Helen and Charlie are already there sleeping. Helen and Charlie have gotten very close lately. And we also learned that Charlie and Achilles do communicate through their sign language. So before Alexis like heads to sleep, She tucks little Poco in, and the rest of her animal protectors like stay next to her. But when she heads to sleep, she realizes that the devil isn't watching her, which is weird because he normally watches her every night. And then, right as she's supposed to go to sleep, there's a knock on the door, and it's Patro, and he's asking to talk. Before we end this chapter, because that isn't at the end of this chapter, but in this chapter, Fluffy Jr. was compared to a horse twice. So just keep that in the back of your mind. But end of chapter. Any thoughts on that? It's not juicy stuff yet. We get juicy.
I mean, this is again one of those examples where like the way Alexis is written, like kind of doesn't make sense to me, right? She's this incredibly intelligent individual. She solves all of these math equations and yada, yada, yada. So if we as readers can look at Cersei's little equation or like little note that she's written down and immediately be like, oh, Zeus tried to have Hercules assassinated and this dude was in on it, right? We can immediately assess that.
Mhm.
But like, why can't Alexis?
I think she does. She's just not saying it.
No, no. If you saw that and you were like, that motherfucker tried to kill me, you would think, right? And because it's her chapter, it's narrated by her.
That is
We
true.
should get the intel that she thinks, man, that Zeus, I'm gonna fuck him up, right?
Bad Zeus. Yep.
But we don't get it. We're led to believe that Alexis just looks at it and goes, "Oh, who needs that info?" And then just like moseys along, like,
Well, Helen did warn her in an earlier chapter, you don't want to get on Zeus's bad side. So maybe she's just thinking she needs to proceed with caution, you know. All right. Chapter 19, Demons in the Dark. It's an Alexis chapter. So Petro keeps knocking on the door, and Alexis is like, stop, because he's going to wake everyone up. And Petro's like, at this point, I don't care. And so, like, everyone is sleeping, and then, like, Helen starts to, like, move, and she gets, like, startled. And so then all of a sudden, Helen, in her sleep, grabs her bedazzled gun, unclicks the safety, and points it at Alexis. She's still sleeping. And Alexis is like, great, I'm going to die. I'm going to die here. Fluffy Jr. is still sleeping on the floor. His hump is getting worse, but Hell and Poco like wake up. So when Alexis like walks outside, Poco and Hell are like with her at the door. Petra apologizes again and asks if she really wants to break the marriage bond, and Alexis says no. Then there's like some going back and forth. They bicker, and then out of nowhere, they pull out a needle and they take Alexis's blood without her permission. Poco like hisses and like tries to like kind of attack Petros at this point, but Hell's eyes like flare red and they're normally blue. So
mhm.
like when they're flaring red, something's happening. And then the Crimson Duo leave and they take her blood. End of the chapter. Thoughts?
You don't really give a shit about her if you're gonna steal her blood against her will. You don't.
Yeah, they
Also,
violated her. That's a form of violation.
okay, as someone who like gets blood work done, like, how are you drawing that blood that quickly? How are you that good of a needle poke? Right there, the
Mm,
Virgo brain kicks into play, and I'm like,
mhm.
this isn't logical. They didn't get that blood
Oh,
that quick.
it's for the plot of the story. We're just here.
I know, but my brain was still like, no,
No, I get it.
no.
Well, it's the same reason why I think Hades and Persephone should have checked in on their daughter. 1000%. So
I
I
think
get
this
it.
is
I get it.
probably this is another one of those things where like Patro got this idea in his head, and Achilles was just like, Jesus Christ, fine, we'll do it so that you'll shut up,
Mm.
you know? Like, but yeah, it's very intriguing to me that like Patro wouldn't have the thought process of like, oh, if I'm willing to steal this person's blood against their will to try to like force them into doing this thing that they've told me they don't want to do, like maybe you should consider that you don't actually give a shit about that person in the way that you think you do.
Fair.
But
I
he
love
doesn't
it.
because he's so super focused on I have to marry this other Thonic who won't interfere with my shampoo hand jobs in the shower.
That's gonna be a quote that we use. I love it.
I'm still
Also
mad about the shampoo. I'm still mad about the shampoo.
also, I have to look up their actual ages, but I'm pretty sure they're not even they are close to marrying age. but you have to be 26. I'm pretty sure they're like 24. Like, I feel like they have like 1 or 2 years to like find somebody. So,
S
right?
like, one of them is, like, a year away.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's possible.
Yeah, one of them is
So,
closer than the
well, I do have my thoughts on once we get to the end of the book, I do have my thoughts of where this is gonna go, but I'll wait till you get to that part to tell you. Chapter 20, Eldest Heir, Augustus, it's the same night. So this is the same night that like her blood was taken and all that. So the reason why the devil, aka Charon, isn't watching Alexis tonight is because he and Augustus are out trying to find some more information. While Augustus waits for Charon to like reach him, Augustus is interrogating, and I'm putting interrogating quotes. He's beating up a doctor to get like more information about why the Titans are mutating, like what's going on. And here's my thing. Isn't his power to like have like mind control over people? Couldn't he just like use it and be like, why are you doing this? There's no need to beat anyone up. Like he's picking violence now for no reason. When Karen arrives, they leap, and I quote, they leap to Trailer Park, bumfuck Montana. So this is where Alexis grew up. So they're trying to find out how Alexis became deaf. So they're gonna start from the beginning and they're like, Alexis grew up here, so we need to start here. So Augustus and Karen go to the first trailer and demand to be let in. Augustus is now like really missing Poco at this point. So he like is like reaching for him, but like he's not there. And so he's just like thinking like all of these things with like little Poco. Finally, the door opens and it's just some man from the trailer park. Augustus shows him a picture of Lexus and Charlie and asks if they know them. The man says he doesn't know them, but then a woman comes out from like the back of the trailer and she says they know who they are. She says the Rugrats lived behind the tree line, and then she asked, like, we heard Alexis is a Spartan. Like, is she really a Spartan? Charon asks, like, why didn't anyone help them if they were just children? And then the man is like, shut up, Katie. Don't say another goddamn word. So, like, now it's very clear the dynamic between this man and this woman. The book goes on to say that the woman is very disheveled. She has like bruises all over her. Then the man fell to the ground. Augustus just meant to knock him out. However, brain fluid is coming out of his ears. So he is now dead. Augustus tells the woman, you're safe now. The man can no longer hurt you because men who hurt women don't deserve to live. And then Augustus like wants to give her money or something and he can't. So he like pats himself down. He doesn't have anything. He's like, I'll be back later with some healing paste and some money for her. Karan just looks at his gun and gives it to her and says, you can pawn it. It's worth a lot. So the woman tells Augustus and Karan that they couldn't help the Rugrats because there was a rumor saying that whoever, if they were helped the kids, that they would be treated or they would be turned into grizzly food. And so, like, that's why no one ever helped them. She swears to God, like, that's the only reason why. So then we find out an hour and four dead men later, they learned that Alexis and Charlie once lived in a trailer with two of their foster parents, but the father was arrested for killing the mother, and then they were homeless orphans. They knew that Alexis must have got her injuries when she was a child because her Spartan healing powers hadn't kicked in yet. And they know that she has all these scars on her arms. And like again, they're just thinking back to her. Maybe she could have gotten some of her deafness back had she, like she won't be as deaf if she could have healed herself. Um, so then finally, so now they're set on it being the father. They're like, we have to figure out somehow to get to the dad. So then there's just like one more trailer they need to go visit. And so when Augustus and Karen knock on the door, the man with the tattoos greets them. And Augustus tries to get into his mind, but his metal defenses are up. He is very strong metal defenses. He should not be able to fight off Augustus. These are animalistic growls echoed in Augustus' head every single time he tried to push through the solid rock. These only reminds him of a time that was somewhat familiar and then the paragraph ends. So then I'm thinking, remember when he tried to get into Alexis's brain and she like fought back a little bit, he couldn't. And he says he's only felt this one other time because he's used to being able to enter people's brains. Paragraph ends, and then the man leaps away. And Augustus and Carmen are stunned, and Augustus is like, he is like ancient. I think he was part creature. His defenses were too animalistic. He is very strong. And if we remember from book one, the man with the tattoos is the same man who always tried to help Charlie and Alexis like whenever he could. Like they like would go to him if they ever really needed anything. So where is that storyline going? Because it just ends there. We don't know where it's going, but I'm very intrigued with this man now. So Karen and Augustus like leap to the prison where the foster dad is because they're Spartans. They can essentially walk into any prison. They want to avenge their wife. So they bring Alexis' foster dad to the dungeon in the villa. So like literally in the basement of where they're all staying. Apparently, the foster dad was bragging about how much he hurt Alexis as a child, so they want to kill him. But they decide that it should be up to Alexis to decide like what happens to him. So for now, he's just gonna stay in the dungeon. So as they're coming up from the dungeon, it's in the morning and they hear Alexis, Helen, Drax, and Charlie like coming through the hallway. They like try to play it cool. Oh my god, this was a movie. I feel like that we'd like just hitting each other, like, act cool, act cool. But what they hear is Helen telling Alexis to open the box. And so, like, now they're really intrigued, like, what's going on. And so then everyone sees each other. So, like, now Alexis sees Augustus and Charon. They're all together. And Charon asks for Alexis to please open the box that it's not jewelry. Meanwhile, Augustus is still concerned about Poco. He's like, have you been brushing him? He needs to be brushed 4 times a day. And it's like, he clearly misses Pogo. Alexis finally decides to like open the box, and inside is a graphing calculator with a built-in recorder that Augustus had to like specifically get made because these are not made anymore. And Alexis loves it. And so the built-in recorder is supposed to help her like record her findings or whatever when she's like trying to figure out this theorem or whatever she's trying to do. She absolutely loves her gifts. So after Alexis and everyone else leaves, Charon tells Augustus, "Oh, I didn't tell you what I saw. Petros and Achilles are trying to take Alexis from us." Because remember, Hell's eyes turned red when this happened. End of chapter. Thoughts?
The gift is great. Good job. You guys finally get it. Like, right? Starting to figure it out.
Mhm.
And I think this is again one of those things where like, you know, Karen's used to like his way or whatever. Cause even Karen's reaction to the gift a little bit in the book is what the what the fuck? You got her a calculator? Right?
But
But
Charon did help. He like helped make the titanium or something, but it was
yeah,
mostly 90% Augustus. Yeah.
yeah. But even Karen's attitude about it was like, I don't get it. Why a calculator? Right?
Yeah.
Still another example of Augustus like showing him like, no, this is what we need to do. It can't just be like all the primal stuff, like, right? We have
Mhm.
to show her that we actually get who she is.
Yeah.
Um, Also, yeah, of course we knew like this whole Patro plan was gonna go to shit from the get-go. One, it was ridiculous. Like, you're convincing yourself that you're in love with somebody that you're not in love with. Your partner is like, dude, you're losing your mind and you're not hearing them because you're losing your mind.
Yeah.
And like, it's kind of strange to me that like you would be Petro and Achilles and you would see one of Karn's protectors. I would think, based on the relationship that you've had with Karn and Augustus, you would know that when Hell or Hounds or both of them, when their eyes turn red, you're being watched. You're being recorded.
Oh, I don't think they know that because remember in book 1, for the longest time, no one knew. Everyone thought he was animal protector less. It's not until the marriage bond that people are now seeing the hellhounds more. So I don't think they know the extent that Karan's been, like, watching them.
Because it was more like the skeleton thing, right?
Right.
That
And then they couldn't and they not until, like, the marriage bond, like, no one even knew about the maybe Augustus knew because he's
yeah,
fucking whatever, but, like, yeah, no one
that's
else knew.
that's weird to me. If somebody is like one of your besties, like they're part of your crew, even if not visible, like, how do you not say to your besties, like, "Yo, I got these things hell and hounded, they spy on everybody, it's awesome." How do you not have that kiki, right? Like, I can't imagine anybody in my crew having
True.
there's no way we don't know each other's animal protectors, there's no way.
True.
So what are
True.
these fucked up relationships y'all are in? Like, come on, get with it. I didn't even
That's
think
true.
about that. I was just sorta like,
That's true.
dude, like, as this man's, like, at one point in time besties, you should know that if his animal protector's eyes turn red, like, you're on camera, right?
Yeah. That's
Like,
true.
so not only is it like you
That's true.
were, like, saying this dumb shit idea to Alexis, you've now also been witnessed hurting her. You've been witnessed taking her blood against her will, and, like,
Mhm.
right? You in double trouble now, man. What are you doing? What are you doing?
True, true, true. Ooh, love
Same
it. All
with these
right.
people who just, like, touch her. Like,
This is true. You took her blood without her permission.
right? But to me, that's also part of it that just shows, like, how, like, Patro has really lost it with this idea, right? Like,
Mhm.
he's so just
Oh, yes.
laser focused on this idea that he's doing stuff he normally wouldn't, right? Like, I can't imagine
Mhm.
his character would normally be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna take your blood anyway." Right?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't
Right.
seem that doesn't fit, like, any previous knowledge of his character. So he's losing it. He's losing it.
I love it because you're right, he is losing it, and we are seeing his downfall of it, so I love it. Chapter 21, Omens and Warnings. In Alexis chapter, it is the next morning, but it is one day until the initiation massacre. So Alexis is in Helen's room where she hears Cersei call from her from the other room. Cersei starts talking about words of predestination and how everything is clear now, and Cersei like found this symbol. Cersei then asks Alexis to guess which house book she found the symbol in. And of course, it is the House of Zeus. Cersei says, "I'm right, I know I am. The House of Zeus had something to do with your disappearance and my memory loss." And again, Alexis is confused because she's like, what do I have to do with any of this, with your memory loss or anything? But whatever, she like puts it aside. Cersei draws a symbol and asks Alexis if it means anything because she will need it for tonight. The symbol is of a straight line with a circle at the top, with a squiggly line over the line and two puffy clouds floating on either side of it. Alexis looks at it and she's like, "Oh, this does look familiar," but she just like can't put like where she's seen the symbol before. Then Alexis asks Cersei, "Why will she need this for tonight?" And Cersei like gets a little frustrated. She crimples the piece of paper and she tosses it and then goes back to reading. And Alexis asks again, "What do you mean I'm gonna need it for tonight?" Alexis grabs the crumpled piece of paper, opens it, but the page is blank. And so now Cersei tells her, all we are what we perceive, right or wrong, real or not. Predestination speaks in a language that no one truly understands. It's a feeling. If you felt it, you need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in your abilities. I trust you myself because I trust you with my life. So she's a little confused, like what's going on. But pretty much Cersei asks Alexis to like if she would just stay with her while she reads. So Alexis being the good friend that she is, she just like sits there. After a while, she like heads back to the other room and there's a knock on the door. And the knock on the door says, and it's one of the servants knocking on the door, and it says, "The heir from the House of Hades is being requested in the dining room and it is urgent." So Alexis like heads down with all her animal protectors there. So the dining room is dark, which is weird because it's actually daytime outside. Karen and Augustus are there with a bond and oh my what is it called when you put the thing in your mouth? Gag, sorry. A bond and gagged petrol. And Achilles has just changed the chair because he already has a muzzle, so he's there. Augustus and Charon tell Alexis to sit, and she doesn't. Charon tells her to sit because she is outnumbered and doesn't have any weapons. Mind you, she has all the animals, so like I wouldn't even say outnumbered at this point, but whatever. And she also has Nyx, and no one knows about Nyx just yet. So then Alexis points her hand like a gun and Nyx coils around her, ready to strike. And then Nyx makes herself visible to everybody. I didn't know Nyx had this ability, but she can now make herself visible. Everyone in the room freezes. And then Augustus goes, Alexis, please tell me that snake doesn't have purple eyes because that would mean you're pointing a venomous Inkinda, I think that's what they called it, but essentially snake, at us like a gun. End of chapter. Dun, 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 dun. What are your thoughts?
I mean, we had to assume at some point that Nyx was pretty dangerous, right? Even
Mhm.
just, like, going back to, like, the scene at the trailer and, like, the foster mother being murdered and whatever, like, Nyx had some sort of hand or encouragement or whatever in that, right? And then even the ways in which we've seen Nyx, like, fiend for violence, right? Or
Mhm.
Nyx sees these hunky men behave violently, and she's like, "Ooh," right? So she's quite a bit like other Thonic people with, like, the proclivity to violence or the enjoyment of
Mhm.
it or something like that. So there has to be some sort of idea that, like, she is also capable of extreme danger, right? Because all of the rest of them who are into it are ones who are capable of
Yeah.
wild, wild shit.
Yeah.
But
Love Nyx. Love Nyx. Again, I didn't know until now. I just assumed the only reason why Alexis could see her was because she's part creature. So, like, that was just part of her power. So, I didn't know she could turn it off and on. So, love that about, Nyx here. All right, now for our sassy topic. So for this one, it's not so much of a super sassy topic, but it's more on character development. Because I do think in these last few books, or few chapters, I mean, we've gotten a lot of character development. So what are your thoughts? Do you like where this is heading? Do you like what the author is doing? Do you not like what the author is doing? And to just like help out what I mean by character development is Augustus. All of book one, Augustus was like very aggressive, and I would say maybe Karin was a little bit more caring. But now we're getting this other side of Augustus. So when he's like, good girl, but remember when they're doing like the training assimilation, he's like, are you okay? Are the bullets too fat? Like he's really trying to make sure she's doing okay. He's trying to be like the nice one here. Um, even Petros and Achilles, like we could say they went from bullying to again, I don't care what you say, they violated Alexa. They took her blood without her permission. They did this, like so like they're now crossing lines that they normally wouldn't necessarily cross. We have Alexis kind of putting down her walls a little bit, still trying to work that out. Karan showing emotion more. It's not the best, he's like, you better forgive me now. I'm sorry. But like, he's trying in his way. So like, what are your thoughts on character developments in all this?
I mean, I think part of it is that we've been around these characters long enough that at some point vulnerability has to be introduced. Otherwise, the characters are bored or like we're bored with
Agreed.
them, you
Yes.
know? So I think that's part of it. And then additionally, like, you have to keep the storyline going, right? You can't keep it in such a way that like Alexis is married to these two men and is just going to keep hating them and hating them and hating them. That's going to get exhausting for us as a participant after a certain period of time. So the vulnerability has to be built in to one, allow us as the participants in the book to connect to it, but two, to actually give you any sort of reason to continue on with the storyline of how these characters interact with each other, you know? So I think that's part of the development that we see. But even with, less like Patro and Achilles, but with Alexis, but especially with Karin and with Augustus, it's almost like the difference between lust and love.
Mm.
Because even Karin in the first book, right, when he realizes that Alexis killed that other student or whatever, even though she didn't know that she did, right? Like all of his reaction to it was just lustful. It was just lust. It was sin. Like there was no, like I need to have a connection to this person, or I want this person to be drawn to me. It was just I'm gonna destroy you, which is hot in its own right. But eventually, it's just like that makes you a one dimensional character. So
Mhm.
us being like almost halfway through the second book. you have to add something to the characters to make them have more than that one dimension. Otherwise, as readers, as participants, we're just gonna be like, "Yeah, I got it." Like, you're boring now.
Uh, love it. I do like where the character development is going for this. I do because I know more of Patros and Achilles because I've read the end of the book and I already have my I'm positive this is where this is gonna go. You haven't reached it there, and so I'll wait to say it. I do wish we get a little bit more. I wish we got like maybe one or two more chapters from Petra or Achilles, and maybe not necessarily both. And it could have been like a one or two pager, but I do think just getting a little bit more, even if it was an Achilles chapter being like he real because we Achilles already told him that he's losing it, but like even to just reinforce the fact that like Patro is losing it. Um, there's also like some things that happen like a little bit later too. That I think just one or two more chapters on these two point of views I think would have been great because I do think the author hasn't said this, but I do think if the series continues, I think the next book is going to be a lot on Patros and Achilles based on what
Mm,
I think is going to happen. So it's possible also maybe she's just holding back because she wants, when it's their book, she wants to give us, more. But otherwise, I do like where we're going here. I also see this as at this point, both Patros and Achilles have done Alexis bogus. Like Achilles left her there to essentially die, and again, they're not raping her or whatever, but like they did violate her, right? They did take her blood, and that was Patro who did it, not Achilles. So I think at this point, both of them have like crossed that bullying line and did this, and like they're gonna do whatever means necessary for the other person. So like in Patros's brain, taking this blood means me and Achilles can be together. Achilles is just like, I'm never saving you over Patro. So, but yeah, but I do like overall where all this is going. So I do wish Alexis could get some vitamin D by now because I think we're like 41% in at this point and nothing's happened. So, but yeah.
she she's getting what she can handle, right? We don't wanna, like, explode a little Alexis's mind here. We gotta I mean, I'm still just like, "Oh my god, come on." Like, just take her to Pound Town. Like, let's fucking go. But
Oh.
right? Like, why would we keep reading? I mean, this book is 50 chapters.
Yeah. Well, it's a slow burn. This is what a slow burn does. We have to wait to the end. So, but yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, I love it. All right.
Otherwise, like,
Well,
if you start off with them fucking, like, every other chapter would need to be fucking for me to keep reading it,
that's
right?
true. Or they could piss each other off and then you want them to get back together so they can get to the fucking. There are ways to include
That's
this
how
all
you
in
get
one.
back together. Oh my god, yeah! Get them really mad at each other after they've had sex, get them really mad at each other, and then have a chapter of hot makeup sex.
I'm sure that we maybe in the future, who knows, like in books to come because they all bicker and fight like there's no tomorrow. But yes.